Hey, welcome back to the show. Actually, this is just our takes on A Message from Space, followed by a bonus episode or extended episode with our fantastic fantasy movie reactions to Never Ending Story because the story never ends. They call me Johnny Spoiler. I sometimes spoil the movies I love, and that's what you're tuning in for. You love it, you need it, you gotta have it. Joined as always by the plucky, effervescent,
Plucky.
unstoppable, incorrigible as well, Jordan Savage, who's so savage, she can drop movie reactions at the dime of a hat. Drop of a hat?
It's true.
I had a slightly better one earlier, but I'm just riffing, so deal with it. It's Binge-Watchers Podcast is the name of the show. And there's music. So crack it open. Cold one, pour it on ice. What else did I say? I think I was thinking about Hot Pockets earlier.
So good. I
I
want
should
one
bring
now.
them up again. Eat a Hot Pocket and crank us to 11.
Crack open a cold box of wine or pour something cold on ice because it's the Binge-Watchers Podcast.
Tonight's movie is absolutely wild. So glad I stumbled across this one. I often say you've stumbled across our show, but I stumbled across a movie that I should have known about, wish I knew about for a long time. Reminds me of Flash Gordon. It's got laser effects. It's got monsters. It's got a freaking boat flying through outer space. It's called Message from Space. An embattled planet on the edge of doom sends an SOS throughout the galaxy for 8 magic warriors to come to their rescue. Including classically trained actor Vic Morrow, who plays General Garada, one of my favorite characters. We're about to drop into that. I don't know if Jordan could have possibly summoned any Savage stats for this movie. Maybe she can say Sonny Chiba is a martial arts movie legend?
Maybe.
Go ahead.
I
Tell
don't
them.
know. Martial arts legend.
Yeah. Sonny Chiba. He's in here. He plays Prince Hans, which is kind of funny because you're like, how are they going to deal with these overpowered baddies in their armor and antlers and magic's, laser thingies. And
Magic laser thingies.
one of their own who's been banished from the kingdom is going to show up as the 8th warrior and
Yes.
save the freaking day. This is kind of a batshit crazy gnarly movie, so I recommend. I mean, I don't know if you're out there smoking up, Johnny, but if you're dropping edibles or you've had a few drinks with the guys and gals and you're like, what are we watching? What are we watching this weekend? What do we got? Maybe go find this movie called Message from Space. I've already seen Flash Gordon. I mean, they talk about Flash Gordon in the Ted movie. And so, Jordan, there's just a certain kind of movie you're like always looking for because you can't get enough of it, but you don't know where it is. This is one of those freaking movies. Absolutely. Like, I'm trolling through Tubi in the middle of the night, or Netflix, or any of the other streamers, or even my stack of DVDs, or like just anything. Like going like, I want to recreate that one feeling I had. Where am I gonna get it?
Yeah.
And this fills the void somehow.
You want to know why I thought that this was going to be a movie that you really were excited about? Because it's the bad people. I forget what they're called. The baddie. We're going to just call them the baddies. In the movie, they're kind of reminiscent of the Wicked Witches of the West henchmen.
Interesting.
So I was getting some like Wizard of Oz vibes.
They reminded you of the flying monkeys?
Not the flying monkeys. You know when she's like in the tower and.
Oh damn! What are the
I was just calling them henchmen.
I think they're called lumpkins. They're like mutated. They're mutated munchkins, or they're people taken from Emerald City and then turned into the witches like guards.
Yeah, the witches guards.
Yeah, because they have like gray faces, like they're ashen, ghouly kind of look ghouls, and they have like the big hats,
the big
like
hats,
British soldiers, and
very like pointy.
That's kind of funny, but
weapons.
there's like a more like so every villain in this wears like a cape, but they have like metal armor that changes, and their faces are also painted and crooked, like she's saying, and their helmets all have like antlers or horns.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because it's almost like the villains are like dead trees, because the people on the planet are like a plant people. Like they send magic seeds out, floating magic seeds to bring back like these warriors, and so the seeds somehow know where to go, and then like the warriors follow them back through like a series of accidents or directly, because some of them are clued in, but most of them are like, what is this floating light bulb
Right.
thing? You know what I mean?
It's
like,
a magic walnut, you guys.
And Vic Morrow is like he's like a B movie actor. He's in westerns. Unfortunately, Vic Morrow is the actor who got killed shooting Twilight Zone the movie. There's like a Vietnam flashback sequence or whatever, and like the helicopter blades, and it's either did the helicopter explode? There was like, yeah, there were uncontrolled explosions, I think, when John Landis made Twilight Zone the movie. And like, anyway, I don't want to turn this into like, it's a mini-sode. It's a short thing. It's like, like, it's a tragedy, but Vic Morrow is like an amazing actor. And so when he pops up in like this cheesy like space opera movie, you're like, damn, dude, like you're really giving us all the Shakespearean you can in a scene with a duel where you're shooting lasers. You know what I mean? But I love his robot, which is supposed to be like R2-D2, because they're like everybody
Babo
online,
or whatever.
Yeah, in like the official descriptions on like IMDb and websites and Google, and also people's comments about this movie is that it's like a ripoff from the original Star Wars, which is interesting. It comes out after Star Wars, but it comes out before Return of the Jedi. And in the end of this movie, Prince Hans knocks the Dark or whatever down into the power reactor of the bad guy's planet / spaceship, whatever palace, whatever they're in, into the reactor core. In Return of the Jedi, Darth Vader throws the Emperor into the reactor core. So I'm like, wait a minute.
Who's copying who?
Who's copying whose space opera? And by the way, R2-D2 does not have as much personality as the robot in this movie.
I think his name is Babo, right?
Yeah, Bebo.
Bebo.
Like,
yeah.
He's got attitude. He's got sass. It seems like he can actually
and
talk
he's one
a
of
little
the
bit.
8.
He's like, does he count?
Yeah, well, he gets the walnut towards the end, because he even makes a comment. He's like, robots aren't, part of the cool kids group or whatever.
Which is like, and then like, just like you said that we have a special rating system on the show, folks, where you go binge now, binge later, binge never. We say like, get it to the top of your list, watch it immediately, get it, add it to the list, but it doesn't have to be, you could just throw it in with any other fantasy movies. Binge never is like, you're going to waste 2 hours of your life. You can't get the time back. You're going to feel awful. And Jordan has like a philosophical crisis on the show where we teeter between whether or not binge never actually exists. Right. So what was my point? I had a very specific point. I was applying our rating system. Oh, so the movie suggests that if the seeds can find these magic warriors on a spiritual level, it's kind of, the movie could be suggesting that like the robot is sentient. Because how did it find his life force? Because it's like, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, just like we could talk about Binge Never's existence for an entire episode, we could just talk about, is the robot alive? You know what I mean?
The black hole of like
we'll be stuck. We'll go down this rabbit hole.
beings.
We'll be stuck there. We'll have to. Well, this will be longer than I said, Jordan, let's crank out an extra 10 minutes about this extra movie I want to drop in your lap. Favorite bits from. Although I feel like this whole conversation is a favorite bit. The entire every word that we've dropped. But anyway.
Okay. Obviously, there's tons of different bits, and there's tons of different greatness in this movie. But I would say I'm always hands down for a space club. And when General Garada goes to the space club and he like finds obviously the walnut in his drink, I love the whole scene.
Because he denies it first, but then when he goes back to get his whiskey, he's like, damn, I'm included.
Yeah. And he's like, it's starting to taste like a nice scotch or whatever, instead of,
what? At first I thought he was supposed to be just an older version of a Han Solo type, but then they introduced 2 pilots that are both like Han Solo.
Oh, totally.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, Hiroyuki Shinada, the guy who's in the new Shogun, who's actually the main samurai in 47 Ronin, which we just reviewed, is in this movie. Like one of his first roles, he's playing Shiro, who's
Oh
one
my
of the 2
God.
cocky pilots that are running the space runs or
He's
whatever.
baby face in this movie too.
Yeah, he's like almost unrecognizable.
So young. I didn't
Yeah.
take a look at it until I'm looking at his IMDb.
You have to pause the
photo
screen.
right now.
Like it's an accident. Like I saw his
Yeah.
face on a poster and I was like, is that the same? Holy crap, it's that dude. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just love the Space Club. Super fun. They've got the dancers,
Yeah.
you know, in the background. There's gambling going on. It was great. Love Bebo.
I mean,
B-Day,
if it
whatever.
is, I mean, if it is a Star Wars ripoff, it's a contender for being one of the best Star Wars ripoffs of all time.
Well, in IMDb says it's wrongly convicted.
Oh, so
as
they
a
stick
Star
up
Wars
for it.
ripoff.
They're sticking
They
up
do.
for it. That's
Yeah.
good.
So, well, it says it's also not the first film that has a magic walnut, like
What?
Japanese space film that has a
So
magic
this is
walnut.
a recurring theme, huh?
This is a recurring theme.
Dang.
So, space nuts. Yeah.
Okay, next assignment, Jordan. Please send me all Magic Walnut space movie lists. What a funny email! Could you imagine if you just got like a message like Space Walnut movie list? You're like, what the fuck? What?
So funny.
That'd be great if like your actual real boss in real life sent a message like that, like, "Hey, waffle Saturday monkey thrust." You're like, "What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, is this a Me Too situation? Do I gotta call HR? You're talking
Yeah.
about fucking floating walnuts? What are you talking about, dude?"
Not too far off when you're speaking to small business owners across all
Oh.
of the, you know,
Holy hell.
nation. But anyways, what was one of your favorite bits?
Yeah. Anyways, well, yeah, wrapped up in the whole walnut of the whole movie. In a nutshell, folks. Yeah. Gosh, there's so much to like. The first thing that I was trying it out, didn't really like it at first. Okay, plant people, okay. You know, is it a hippie metaphor? Is it a save the earth metaphor? What's happening here? You know, kind of watching it, trying to look for Sonny Chiba's cameo. I saw his name on the poster. And then as soon as I saw the sailboat, like galleon or whatever, like this, you know, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, 1900s, like a classic ship floating through space.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah,
Then
sold.
when I saw how much production design they put into the villains, this guy Dark or Lord Dark or whatever, whoever he is, like if he is a ripoff of Darth Vader, he's pretty damn good because I'm actually more terrified of this freaking guy.
Yeah.
Like thinking that he could actually do some damage in the galaxy than Darth Vader. Because Darth Vader just kind of choked people with air and then yelled at them. Like this guy has like, oh, hi, you're from a planet we previously didn't know existed. Yeah, sure, we'll break bread with you. No, we're just gonna blow up the moon. you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Anyway, he does some horrible things. That's kind of just the moon thing stands out. But anyway, I love it. I love the way they look. The costumes. It's like Earth Girls Are Easy. The bright colors, like you know what I'm saying? They took the time to like figure out like if we lived here, what would it look like? What would this be like? What would that be like? I also think it's cool that like the swords can project laser beams and energy fields, but they're still made of steel. You know what I mean? They're still swords.
Right.
And like even the general has like formal regalia that he has to wear in one scene. You're like, so it's like I love the idea of like 20th century elements, but in space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not. It's like, you know, it's not really technology. It's more of like fantasy, right? But it somehow still works. Anyway, I didn't really answer your question. What are my specific favorite bits? The spinning fighting. I love when they introduce and again, I don't want to say it's like a God in the machine moment because you're kind of going along. You don't really know how they're going to pull this off. Okay. One story element is I love how the 8 chosen don't want to be chosen. They're all reluctant. They all don't buy into the prophecy.
They don't believe it.
None of them. Not one person is willing to volunteer. No one is making the effort. And they all have side beefs, either with each other or the organizations. You know what I mean? Like they all have reasons not to do it. Oh, and then my second thing would be like the big reveal when the one's like shady salesman kind of guy betrays them, and then like the there's one warrior who's not part of the 8. You're like, oh, he's gonna die. Like, he's like the assistant to the tribal leader from the plant planet, right? But he has a sword, so he goes along with the princess as like an escort. Oh, we probably should have established that there is a princess. I forgot to say that. Yeah, she's like the guide and moral support and like the motivation for them on the boat. And she has a bodyguard, but then he gets betrayed by one of the 8 chosen. So that would be one of my favorite bits because I didn't see it coming. And then, the climax is pretty great. Like all the fighting is like pretty done. It's not wire fighting. Like they're not really flying through the air, but there is an element of like, this is not realistic. It's very stylized and heightened. It's definitely a fairy tale, but I love it because it's in outer space. How many fairy tales happen in freaking outer space? None. Right. Anyway, like if you look up Japanese space operas, this comes up, and the show they made based on it comes up. Not too many other things come up, and like again, you're trying to fit like such a niche type movie, right? I think you could literally lift the transcript from this movie, remake this movie with the same title, release it now, killer movie.
Yeah. Can you tell he likes it?
Dang. And so now we have the ratings, which I mentioned earlier. Binge now. Get it. Gotta watch it now. Binge later. Put it on your list, but you don't have to get to it anytime soon. Binge never. Stay away. Don't waste your life. Jordan, where do you fall?
It was a binge later for me. I can't say I like it as much as you do, but you know what? For a fun night, throw it on, do the thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, put it on the list. Get around to it. It's worth watching.
I would say it's such a contrast from the other things we've been reviewing.
It is such a contrast.
Okay, if you're listening to us on... Oh, actually, wait. I skipped around. I do have to tell people about... We do have sponsors on the show every once in a while. We're like a real podcast. I gotta mention this one real quick, and then I'll get to my rating. I'm gonna break up the ratings. Actually, no. Okay, fine. I'll do it after the ratings. Obviously, Jordan predicted it. It's a binge now for me. Again, fill the void. Find a certain type of movie. Anyway, speaking about filling prescriptions, let's talk about ZocDoc. They're sponsoring the show tonight. What can I say about them? Let me find my paperwork here. Here we go. We all know there are things in life you have to compromise on. It could be the upstairs neighbor that plays the drums too loud. It could be going to the grocery store when you don't want to, and all you want is that burrito. And everything else is in between. But when it comes to your health, there's no compromise. So don't go back to that one doctor who uses your appointment to catch up on the latest headlines of their chat room or winning the crossword puzzle app with their friends. No. You can find out who's available right now, and they can take your slightly sketchy insurance. So instead, check out ZocDoc, the place where you can find and book doctors who will make you feel comfortable, listen to you, and prioritize your health. And you can search by location, availability, and insurance. So literally no compromises here, because with ZocDoc, you've got more options than you know. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare highly rated in-network doctors and instantly book those appointments with them online. Find the doctor you want, book them immediately. No more waiting awkwardly on hold with that receptionist. And these docs have all been verified with reviews from actual real patients. You can filter specifically for ones who take your insurance, are located near you, and treat basically any condition you're searching for. The typical wait time to see a doctor booked on ZocDoc is between just 24 to 72 hours. That's it. You can sometimes score same-day appointments. I've used ZocDoc in the past. I'm not going to talk about my embarrassing reactions. Let's just say I've used the app, and I think Jordan's downloaded the app too. Yeah. So if you're interested in this
the best commercials right now too, by the way.
What's that?
Is that they have the best commercials
right now they're killing it
on the market. Yeah.
So if you find out how to kill that rash or anything else that's going on, go to ZocDoc.com/spoiler and download the ZocDoc app for free, and then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/spoiler. ZocDoc.com/spoiler. Okay, now back to the podcast already in progress. I believe we were talking about how to rate Message from Space. Well, no, I already said that, right? I already said
Yeah.
binge now. Where are we at? Where the hell are we at?
You're a binge
Oh,
now,
I know where
baby.
we're at. I know where we're at. I know where we're at. See, I got so excited. I'm like not a professional tonight. I'm just like a movie fan. I'm just like
We're
all over
having
the place.
fun, is what
Having
it
so
is.
much fun. If you're listening to us on audio, well, stay tuned after this reaction, after this mini-sode, because there's a bonus episode of our coverage of the never-ending story. Jordan, did you ever watch the part 2?
No.
Oh, well, now's your opportunity. Actually, she's going to go give a second chance to Message from Space.
I'm going to put it on right now.
She's never going to watch it again.
Not entirely true.
It would be fun to watch at a party. You get like 6 or 7
It would.
people around.
Throw it on.
Break out the guacamole.
Yeah. Like a
Have
fun
some
costume
margaritas.
party or something. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that would be crazy to see like somebody actually bring up Message from. That'd be really funny. Very convention, and like there's 2 people. One person's dressed up like a character from Message from Space, and you're the other person who goes, "I know exactly what movie that
You're
is."
from Message from Space. Yeah.
Message received.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Message accepted. You could throw a Message from Space party. It would be so fun.
That would be cool. And again, don't get distracted by our love for Message from Space. If you want the bonus episode, it's coming up right now with Never Ending Story.